Well, good morning, everybody. It's Leanne Greff with today's live. Every Tuesday, 11 a.m. is when I am live on my Facebook page. Now, I do upload all my videos to the my YouTube channel as well, so you can see them there afterwards. So I hope you, gotta straighten my screen just a little. I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel and or my Facebook page or both. They are both I show different things on each one. And by the way, my blog is where you can see everything that's current, what's happening. I post all the updates, specials, all that stuff. So if you haven't subscribed to my blog, be sure to do that. When you go to flowerbook.net, you can scroll down just a little bit on the right side where it says get email updates, and then you add your email and you will see everything that I post, including my free project sheets that I always post on, usually Mondays and Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays, depending on what's happening with these specials going on. Okay, just a little update on the inventory status report. I'm going to just cover this up for a second. I'm going to talk about that later. So there's not much. I know there is still, I think it's Stays On and Memento are still out of stock. I don't know. Haven't heard an update on what's happening. They've been out of stock for a long time. And the refills as well. So there are a few other ink pads. I don't think there's any more blends markers, and even cardstock like Blackberry Bliss will not be available for a few weeks now. So I think they're starting to run out or run low. Obviously, they hardly are ever out of cardstock because people are stocking up with the price increase. So I'm going to use my friend Annette as an example. She knows the price is going up, and she put in I think an order over $150 of almost all cardstock. And she said when she looked at the price increase or what's happening with it, she saved $35 by getting cardstock now before the price increase on May 6th. So if you love our cardstock and you have certain colors that you're either short on or you use a lot, I would recommend you stock up on cardstock before it goes up. And yes, I know it's really sad, disappointing to see price increases, but our world is pretty crazy lately. I don't know why everything is, I'm not going to get into that, why everything has gone up, but it has. It's a fact of our life, and it's just how it is. So I'm applaud Stampin' Up! For being proactive and keeping themselves safe and solvent as far as their company goes. So not much here, and we're getting close to some things that we've been waiting for a long time, a few weeks out on those. So next week, March 31st, I will not be here. I'll be out of town, so I will not have a live video on the Tuesday, the March 31st. So watch my Facebook page and my blog for updates. April 1st, there will be another set of online exclusives, not on exclusives, sorry. This is our current online exclusives. This is the March one, and this is the January one. So we have a bunch of additional product that is seen online only and not in any publication. Some wonderful demonstrator made this sheet, and I did not do it, and then shared it with other demonstrators. So that's how I got these. But April 1st, the new last chance list will be out. So that means the in colors, which are retiring, the 2023-25 in colors, the anything from the annual catalog and the spring catalog that is retiring will be on that list. And there could possibly be some discounts. I have not heard. Usually they do discount some of the items, so come back, check on my blog or on Shop with Leanne to find out what's on the new or updated last chance list on April 1st. So that's what's happening there. All right, I don't have a lot of other news, but let's go over door prize. So this was the door prize for last week's video. And also, of course, a free tutorial from my shop. So the winners are Janine Toomey and Sharon Rowland. So I haven't watched to see if they're on, but I don't see their names. But congratulations, Janine won the gems, the faceted gems, and Sharon gets a choice of free tutorials from my shop of any I have. I don't know, probably about 30 on there. So congratulations, gals. Thank you so much for sharing and commenting on my videos. I appreciate it very much. Okay, we are going to, I'm going to wet my throat a minute. We are going to play, and I know I've been sharing these a lot. I've been just using this stamp set and the dies a ton. So yes, this is what we're going to play with today. I'm a little worried. I have a tickle in my throat. I will do my best to continue to talk. All right. So the first card is one I made for an online group I am in. And I think it's beautiful. And it features, I'm going to show this first. I think I showed it last week, but not everybody watches every week. So this is the Woven Textures designer paper. And you can see it's definitely woven textures. They did a great job on making this real. And you get, I think it's 3 sheets of 4 different designs. So I kind of have them mixed up since I played with them yesterday, or this weekend. So yeah, I just love how real it looks. Like you should just touch it, right? So, all right, so here is the card that I made for my online post. And this is pecan pie. I almost said soft suede. How many of you remember soft suede? I don't remember the comparison, but this is pecan pie with some early espresso. And the rest is all the designer paper. I stamped directly on the paper. So let's get started with stamping. And like I said, my favorite set lately is this one. My next card that I'm showing today is, I'm going to scoot this over here because I'm very right-handed, is a fun fold, and you're going to love it. It's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to do a couple, this is what I did, stamping off. Okay, so we'll just go up here and then we'll do a little stamp off, and that's all I'm going to do for that. So quite easy. All right, and oh, you know, the inside. I'll show you what I did on the inside. Now here I used basic beige, and I kind of think I should have used white because it just doesn't quite work. Even though basic beige is listed in as a color in the designer paper, I just don't know if it quite works with the paper I chose. So I'm gonna do this and stamp off and do that. And that'll be from the top. And I will do the thank you as well. I know it's very easy because I am, I'm going to just stamp off here because I have everything ready. I know it's not that quick when you're making your cards, but yeah, it's quick once you get everything cut out. Stamping is just so much fun. Putting things together, being creative with paper. I don't know if many of you have heard my story. When I first heard about stamping, I've shared it just a couple times, I think, but my sisters and my husband's family is very crafty, and they, pause for a minute. This is the mini corrugated embossing folder, and I ran it through on the angle, and I didn't bring it over here. But it's really cool. You can do it either way. And I thought I can almost line up the corrugated with the vertical part of the card. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go in the middle for now so I don't go over the edge. But anyway, my sisters-in-law, 2 of them, said to me, oh, you've got to try this new craft. It's so fun. And I said, well, what is it? Because I had been always crafty as well. They said, it's called stamping. And I knew kind of what stamping was. I said, you mean with ink and paper? And they said, yeah, it's just super creative and really fun. And this was, well, I've been stamping or a demonstrator for 20 years. So this was probably about 23 years ago. And in my head, I didn't say it to them, but I said, oh, that sounds so childish. Stamps and paper. I'm like, isn't that what kids do? Is they, play with stamps and, rubber stamps and things. And I didn't even, I just said, yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. And I didn't poo-poo it or anything. But then later, a friend invited me to her Stampin' Up! Workshop. And I was scrapbooking by then. And, of course, using just designer paper and stickers and whatnot. So let me put this on here. I'm trying to line this up so it's straight. Just overlapping these two offset from each other. That looks pretty good. So then it was a Stampin' Up! Party, and I was just there to support my friend. I'm using linen thread here to wrap around these two pieces. I want to leave enough to tie a bow. But anyway, so I fell in love with the colors that everything matched, because my scrapbooks just did not seem scrapbook pages did not seem very cohesive at all. I mean, they just were like, yeah, that's pretty. And man, once I learned that their paper, designer paper and cardstock, everything matched, I'm like, okay, sign me up. And I have been stamping ever since. But yeah, my first impression of stamping was how childish. So, oh yeah, and now look, 20 years later, and multiple trips and multiple friendships. So it's a crazy world. And then I don't think they stamp anymore. I mean, so yeah, I think every now and then they do, but all right, they didn't get into it like I did. Just trying to decide how high and low. But what do you think if you glue these two designer papers together and then you wrap them with some twine, a little offset, so you can, and I already did cut this out, and this is also stamped directly on the designer paper. So we'll add a few dimensionals to that. Such an easy card, and especially when you have these coordinating textured and patterns and colors. So I want this to hang off a little as well. There we go. And then the gems, these are the new neutral matte dots that are in the online exclusives. So they're pretty flat, and I'm going to use the small ones. And if you haven't used your Take Your Pick tool with the putty end, I love it. Instead of like flicking these across the room or they don't stick, you simply just push and it sticks. And it is my favorite way of picking up gems now, because they just stick. I mean, it's awesome. And then when you want more, it lasts a long time, but you just simply twist that up, and don't do it too much, because when you twist it, it tends to put out a lot. You don't want to give it just a tiny twist. That's what you want to do. And then the other end, and there's another end too that has stylus in two different sizes. So this one has a spatula, and the other end has a poker. Many of my customers like to use the poker to pick their gems up, but I love the putty end. Okay, so that's the card. What do you think? I think it's really pretty. So, but I am such a fan of leaves, and that's why I can't get enough of this set. It just seems to hit all my buttons that I need. So, oh, and I didn't even mention that I cut out these designer papers from the dies. I think it was this one and this one. So it's hard to see with that one until you really look close, but of course this one is the smallest. And so I used 3 of these dies on this card. Okay, hopefully you can spy that a little bit. Okay, next card. You're gonna love this one. Love it. We did this at my club, and I'm going to show you my inspiration. So my inspiration was this card. It's a bendy card. Have you ever made one? And my team member Roxanne made this with the Terrific Toadstools, I think is the bundle. And of course this is celebration paper, but I just fell in love, and I'm like, wait, that's really easy. You just have 2 pieces that are scored with a little flap on each end. I'm like, okay. And it's scored in the middle. So how easy is that? So I'm going to show you, this is what I made for my clubs. And this is the Botanical Textures designer paper. There's the back, there's the front, but it stands up. But I had to add a few little leaves just for some interest because I just like that. And I used this Delicate Forest dies for these leaves right here. So basically I just cut a strip of paper, well you'll see, for these two leaves on there. But that is the Delicate Forest dies, and I have a feeling they'll be retiring. So, because they've been out, I think maybe a couple years. But all right, let's get started on this. And unfortunately, I had a few projects left over from my club, and I was just stamping away, making the extras, and I stamped this piece too. So, but I'll show you what I did, is I inked this in black ink, and I always use Memento when it's just not being colored, or even if it's being colored with blends. I don't use StazOn very often. That is for watercoloring, just so you know. Memento black is perfect ink for blends, but if you're coloring with regular markers, Stampin' Write markers, or watercolor pencils, you want to use StazOn. StazOn is the permanent ink and will not run with water-based coloring, where blends are alcohol-based and this is water-based. So the ink and the method you're coloring with have to be opposite from each other. But anyway, I inked and stamped, and then I stamped lower without re-inking, and then I inked, and then I stamped again. But first I added my greeting. Just so you know, you always want to add your greeting. And I'm going to show you how I stamp the back. This one, they're a little different from what I'm going to do. So I gave them an option. Well, you can have your leaves falling like a tree, or you can have them growing up like a bush. But then I thought, well, what about both? so I'm going to show you both. All right. So we're going to start with this and then that. Okay. And then we're going to ink again, stamp off, and go in the middle. Okay, now, and I'm trying to work down here so I don't make a big mess of my paper, if you can notice that. No, I'm going to stamp off once, stamp here, and maybe I won't stamp off on this one. Let's see. Okay, so when you put them together, you know, I'm going to give a little bit more right there. When you put them together, you have this falling and growing. I don't know if it makes any real sense, but that's what it is. And then I will add the stamp in here, a little note of appreciation. And I'll do that right up here. Okay, done stamping. Now we can assemble. All right, turn that around. Okay, when you're adding your designer paper, so this is 5.5 by 4 1/4, typical A4 card size, and it's scored at 2 3/4. And this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So what you want to do is, and I do recommend liquid glue here. Somebody used regular tape runner, and that was okay. And I am adding glue along the middle. And I'll explain why as I go. So this is not scored. You could score it, but I didn't want to figure the measurements out of 5 1/4. So I chose not to. But right away, before it's really dry, I get my thumbs in here on that crease line, and I just start bending it. And you don't have to do a hard bend, but at least get it used to bending. And that means, but you also want it to lay flat, but you know, just get it used to it. Because mailing it, you will want it to lay flat, right? Okay, so we'll just go ahead and do our back while I have them here. I really love these stamps, these leaf stamps. I think they would be a go-to forever, in my opinion. Okay, so now we have our front. You can see the different patterns. They're all black and white. Now this piece, and I don't remember the measurements, you'll have to stop back in on Monday or Tuesday to get the free project sheet, which looks like this. So if you ever haven't seen my project sheets, you have the pictures, the measurements, and directions, and then on the back, if you print it double-sided or 2 sheets, you will have the the products. So that's what my project sheets look like. And you can see them here. I have a whole category that says free project sheets. And you can print out a bunch of them, or download them. All right, so we're going to add adhesive to the flaps here. This is so easy. You're going to want to make this as soon as you get the measurements. And then I know it's hard to do the bend. You may want to do a harder bend than I just did. And I'm doing even top and bottom and side to side. And then do all this flat, right? This is all laying flat, and so it mails. All right, so for this piece, I know it's 5.5 here, so it must be 6.5 with score line at each end, okay? Then here are those die cuts that I decided to do. Now, if you want to add Wink of Stella, oh, of course, yeah, I did bring it. You can add Wink of Stella to these leaves, and I recommend you do that before you add it to your card, so you can use something flat like this and not worry too much about getting it on the rest of your card. The other thing I did on this one was I inked the clear leaves with Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see that or not, and the leaves are also winked. Okay, all right. So what you want to do is bone fold these flaps. Will be easier for you later. And then you add a little bit of glue on these strips. Like I said, you don't need the whole length from that die cut. And then you will start adding them. And I left a little bit of that hill, that curve on there, just for some interest. And then this one I'm going to do on this side. There we go. So now we have that. Now when we add this, you know, this time instead of gluing it on there, I'm going to glue it here, because I think I will be able to control where they go, because, oh, I'm even shaking a little bit. Yeah, just fold that in, and it's end to end, and bottom, you want to match your bottom up. So before I bend that very hard, I'm going to let that sit and get my gems out here. And do a big one on the bottom here. Okay. Now you can't really adhere those. It's a little bit flyaway on there, so it's a little fragile. But isn't it a pretty card? So it stands up so wonderfully. So yeah, that is how easy this bendy card is. Yeah, it's really simple. So that uses the textured notes stamps that I didn't use the dies on this one. But if you just join me, this is the other card that I did today using this same stamp set and the rectangle textured notes dies, which I love, love, love. So if you want this bundle, it's on the online exclusives, but you can go to Shop with Leanne, and if you're ordering, please use the host code if you want to get a free gift from me with a qualifying order, and that's any order over $50 this month. You will get a set of gems, iridescent clear and gold dots. So anyway, that is today's video. So I will not see you next week. I will be out of town. So I will see you in 2 weeks. I believe that's April, let's see, 2nd, 9th maybe? Wow, that seems like a long time. All right. Okay, thanks everybody. I hope you enjoyed the cards today and hope you were inspired to do a little stamping this week. All right, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.